All right, you got Week 8 NFL. Cowboys are off this week, but they made some news. They make a trade. They pick up Amari Cooper. Give up a first-round pick. I mean, everybody's freaking out. They paid too much. Amari Cooper's done. This, that, and the other thing. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. But you know, I'm gonna look on the bright side here. You know, the guy's 24 years old. You know, he had two Pro Bowl seasons, first 2 years in the league. And then, you know, and listen, I had Amari on my fantasy team last year. Okay, and it was aggravating to watch. Okay, and I traded him mid-season because I didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. And then I actually drafted him again this year thinking he might bounce back. And then, you know, same thing again. I mean, he had 1 or 2 decent weeks, but... You know, and I just got rid of him again, like just early. And, you know, obviously not knowing he was coming to Dallas, but you know, look, listen. The guy's 24 years old. Okay, he had 2 Pro Bowl seasons to start his career, and then remember, Derek Carr gets hurt at the end of 16. You know, Derek Carr was on fire that year. I mean, I know because I won a fantasy championship with Derek Carr. I'm watching him throw to Amari Cooper. I watched a lot of Raiders in 2016 and half of 17. And the difference is just stark. I mean, Derek Carr, hasn't been the same since that injury. And his play hasn't been the same, and that's affected the team. And listen, the Raiders are a bad team now. I mean, and they've gone in this, very swift decline. Listen, you go back to the end of the 16th season. Going into that Christmas Eve game or whatever it was. Everyone's talking, Raiders are dark horse to go to the Super Bowl that year, and then Carr gets hurt and it's gone to shit. But Carr hasn't been the same since the injury. The Raiders have gotten bad all around, and yeah, Amari has struggled, but maybe he checked out mentally, because he saw what was going on. His quarterback wasn't as accurate, and that affected his play. And listen, you can't check out mentally, but you can understand why it happened. I mean, if anybody needs to change the scenery, it's Amari Cooper. So, I mean, obviously the guy's got talent. First round pick is too much. Shut up. Listen, that's what the Raiders were going to give up. They weren't giving up anything else for him. Otherwise, they're just going to keep him. So, sometimes you got to roll the dice. I mean, if Amari Cooper can, he doesn't have to be a superstar, but if he can be that deep threat, stretch the field, now the running game that we already have, now suddenly it's back in form. Because listen, the running game suffered this year because we don't have that guy. We have a decent group of complementary receivers right now. Beasley, Hearns. Those are nice complementary guys, but you can't lean on those guys. You have no one to stretch the field. Now you have someone that can do that. Maybe Gallup becomes that guy, but he's a rookie. So like. If Amari becomes that guy, now the running game's back in form, defense is playing great, guess what? We're suddenly very tough to beat. And listen, I don't know if it's going to happen, but to sit here and say, we should have given up a first-round pick. Shut up. Stop. Come on. What, you're going to miss the 20th pick next year or the 18th pick? Well, who cares, all right? Who cares? Give up a first-round pick, all right? And see if this guy can become a player. I mean, this is not like trying to grab a veteran for a 1-year Super Bowl run. I mean, if this works out, I mean, Amari could be a decent player for the next 5 years. And that's worth 1 first-round pick. Okay, that gamble is worth 1 first-round pick. So everybody stop complaining, all right? And let's see what happens, all right? And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Who cares? All right, so let's get to these Week 8 games. You got Miami and Houston on Thursday. Houston, gets a win. Keep themselves in the ball game here. Miami, disappointing home loss against Detroit. I mean, this is another tough one here Thursday night. I'm gonna take Houston because I just think Miami. you know, the QB situation, that's going to hurt them. You know, Tannehill out. I mean, not that Tannehill's amazing, but you know, at least he was a solid starter. And you know, Osweiler. I mean, he had the game against the Bears, but you know, you could see Miami heading into the tank slowly. And Houston, you know, hopefully Deshaun Watson's getting a little healthier. You know, the running game's picking up, so I'm gonna take Houston Thursday night. So let's go to Sunday morning. Again, we got a nice little London matchup to wake up to. And by the way, I had a guy in one of my leagues last week with the Chargers. You know, he left Melvin Gordon in his lineup, and now I've got Melvin Gordon in another league. And you know, Saturday afternoon, I'm just looking at my team, and all of a sudden I see Melvin Gordon Q. I'm like, wait a minute, Melvin Gordon Q. I'm like, he's not playing Sunday. Like you don't go from no Q to Q on Saturday because nothing happens Saturday. So if you go to Q on Saturday, you're not going to play Sunday, and you need to be prepared. And I made sure my alarm was set Sunday morning. You know, I like to sleep in, but you know, I'm not going to sleep in and have Melvin Gordon, you know, hit a 0, you know, when I can get him out of the lineup. You know, so I got up at 8:20 and I made my move. I got him out the lineup. I didn't win, but you know, whatever. The point is that you need to pay attention to what's going on in your fantasy teams. But anyway, so back to the Sunday game, Philly at Jacksonville. I mean, you know, these are two teams. You know, Jacksonville almost. You know, this could have been the Super Bowl last year. You know, Jacksonville. You know, was up 10 in the fourth quarter. You know, they could have played Philly in the Super Bowl, and now both these teams are. You know, they look like they're heading in the right direction. I mean, Philly's been up and down, but you know, bad loss to Carolina last week when they had the lead in the fourth quarter. I don't even know what happened in that game. I didn't even watch it. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, Carolina came back. How do you like that? Jacksonville is dangerously flirting with a lost year. You know, Fournette's been out. You know, I mean, Yeldon's filled in nicely. You know, I mean, he's been decent, but you know, suddenly the quarterback play is in the toilet, and you can just sense that this team is going to start to panic, especially if they lose this game. You know, and listen, defense hasn't played up to standard, but you know, they're getting a lot of stress from you know what's going on offense. I mean, you know, Bortles, I don't know. I haven't watched enough of them. I mean, I watched them from the 50-yard line so we get lit up in Dallas a couple weeks ago, but you know, Jacksonville is teetering on the edge of a disastrous season, and they desperately need this win. And Philly kind of needs the win too. I mean, maybe not as much because the NFC East is, you know, I mean, Redskins are 4-2 now, but you know, this is. I'm gonna take Jacksonville, but I'm not confident. But I think if they're gonna bounce back, this is the week they bounce back. If they don't win this game, I think Jacksonville's done for the year. I'll be honest with you. I don't care if they trade for a quarterback or not. All right, so then regular early afternoon games. You got the Jets at Chicago. You know, Bears hung with New England. You know, they put up some points. It was a nice fantasy game for a lot of dudes. You know, the Jets again disappointing at home. The Bears will win this game. You know, I think the Jets. You know, they're not a good team, but they'll be entertaining some weeks. But they're just, you know, they got a rookie quarterback. But the Jets they're trending upward. You know, long term. You know, they'll put it together. But Chicago win this game. Chicago's got to get this game and stay in the playoff hunt. Tampa Bay at Cincinnati. You know, just disappointing loss for Cincinnati last week. You know, getting destroyed in Kansas City. I mean, again, the Chiefs scoring 40 points every week. You know, it's tough, but you know, Bengals couldn't keep up on offense. You know, it was pretty much a blowout. And then you know, Tampa struggling, getting a win against Cleveland. You know, I think the Bengals have enough on offense where they win this game. But you know, this could be another big time shootout. I'll take the Bengals to win, but I mean, who cares really? Because I mean, Tampa's not going to make the playoffs, and even if Cincinnati does, they're going to lose in the first round. So who cares? Seattle's at Detroit. Detroit again, can't figure them out week to week. You know, they look good one week, they look bad the next week. You know, and then you got Seattle coming in, who you know, watch out for Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson, you know, especially from fantasy perspective. I mean, he's a second half quarterback. second half of the game, second half of the year. I mean, he starts putting up big numbers. I'll take Seattle in this game because I don't trust Detroit to do anything. Denver, Kansas City. Picked up Denver's defense for nothing in one of my leagues, and then he dropped 38 points for me. A nice, easy coasting win. I think I won by like 99 points in that league. But good for them. But guess what? That was the 1 week you needed to have Denver's defense, because now they're going to probably give up 38 points in real life, and maybe more. The Chiefs are just, man, are they fun to watch? They're just, I'm just so disappointed. I mean, I have Kelsey, but I'm not partaking in any of the Mahomes, Tariq Hill, Kareem Hunt. I don't have any of those guys in any of my leagues, and that's the only disappointing about this thing. I'm not getting to enjoy this from a fantasy perspective, other than Kelsey. But I mean, you had to have Kelsey anyway. He's the best tight end. But Kansas City will win this game. They're just, even the game they lost in New England, they put up 40 points. I mean, this team's not stopping now. If they can continue to do this, getting close to playoff time, that'll be interesting to see. Because again, Kansas City did this last year. They got off to a great start and then fizzled. But let's see what happens this time around. Washington at the Giants. Redskins got a break last week. I mean, they won the game, and listen, I don't like to complain about the refs when my team loses. I don't like doing that, but sometimes refs make these calls, and it's just it's amazing how it ends up swinging the game. I mean, obviously the guy snapping the ball. I don't know why they call that, and it's just a ridiculous time for that kind of call. And then even then, I think it was Tony Dungy signing football at halftime. He was like saying, "Oh well, he does the exact same thing on the next play, and they don't call it." So it's like, what do you? I mean, and even the holder is saying like, "Well, this is how I do it every time, and I've never been called for it." But for whatever reason, in that spot, they decide to make the call. It's just silly. Now, again, does it cost them the game? I mean, listen, that's a field goal to tie the game. Maybe if they don't call it, he misses it in that instant. Or maybe he makes the kick, they go to overtime and lose or whatever. So, you can't sit here and say, well, the refs cost cover the game. But it's like, some of these calls are just ridiculous. And then, even the holding call, before the Redskins' defensive touchdown was dubious. It's just, that guy's already going to the ground. I mean, it's not affecting the play. He wipes out a first down, and then, that can't fumble the ball in the end zone. I mean, at the very least, he's just got to hold on to it, and then it's a safety, and then it's 2 points instead of 7. So it's like, But listen, you can't complain about the refs, okay? You can't complain about the refs. Refs don't cost you the game. You can't put yourself in. Refs making mistakes are part of the game. You can't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna let a referee call, swing it one way or the other. He's not complaining about the refs, the Rams, because they blow everybody out. So when refs make a bad call, it doesn't matter because they're taking care of business. So again, just on just a side note on that Washington Dallas game. But anyway, Washington's going into New York. God, I mean, I hate rooting for the Giants to have to win a game, but we're trying to win a division here, and we need Washington to lose a game, especially a division game. But I don't see what the Giants are up to. I mean, the Giants are just, I give them credit. They kind of hung in there against a seriously underachieving Atlanta team. Atlanta's got the week off, but they might as well take the rest of the year off because they're not going anywhere. But everyone's screaming about the Giant coach Shermer going for 2 when it was 20-12. Like, what are you doing? What are you going 2 for, man? Just like shut up. Like, the team's 1-5. Who cares what they do? Go for 2. There's some mathematical logic behind it. Who cares? Go for 2. Oh, you have to kick the extra point there. Shut up. You're 1-5. Go for the 3 points. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter. Like, try and do something to maybe win a game because the team's garbage. So all these people complaining. Just stop. Go for 2. And same thing with Baltimore. This you kick the extra point and go to overtime. Why? Win the game. Win the game right there. Because listen, I guarantee you, when you're the team, you're rooting for the team that is going against the team going for 2. You're like, oh, I thought we were going overtime. Oh no, I don't want to lose a game right here. So don't act like that doesn't make the other team nervous that now they can suddenly lose the game when all along they thought they were going to play for a tie. So I don't have a problem with these guys going for two to try to win the game. And when it does, because if it works out, then they're amazing geniuses. Then it doesn't work, and then they're the biggest jerks in history. And it's so stupid. So go for 2 points. Listen, you do it in Madden. I tried to do it the other night. I rallied from 2 touchdowns down, and I thought about it. I was like, maybe I should go for 2 here and try to win the game. But there was only like 20 seconds left, so I was like, nah, I'll go to overtime and see what happens. But of course, the guy scored on me, and whatever. But that's a different story. Anyway, I want the Giants to win this game, which is something that rarely ever happens. But the Redskins will win this game, unfortunately. So what are you gonna do? Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Obviously these teams tied week 1. The Browns seem like they're going to tie almost every other week. And in Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell's still sitting on his couch. I don't know what's going on here. The guy's killing my dynasty league. It's just, this is the first year we're playing the league, and it's like, this is not the start I want my franchise off to. With this guy, pulling this nonsense, and Steelers not trading him. Trade the guy, okay? Just trade the guy so the guy can do something this year. Le'Veon Bell sitting on his couch. He's one of the best running backs in the game, sitting on his couch. Think about that for a second. He is one of the best running backs in the entire galaxy, and he's sitting on his couch because this team doesn't want to pay him this amount of money, and he wants this amount of money. It's so stupid. Like, imagine you were the most talented, whatever, and you're not using your talent because you're different by a couple $1 million or whatever it is. It's stupid. Just get on the field. Get him on the field. Somebody get him on the field. I don't care who he plays for. Just get him on the field. Stupid. Pittsburgh will win the game. Baltimore, Carolina. Baltimore, tough loss. Here's another one where everyone complaining about guys going for 2 at the end. Well, here's a case where Baltimore kicked the extra point to go to overtime with the most accurate kicker who's never missed an extra point. Guess what? This is an extra point. So it's like you can't win no matter what you do unless you execute. A tough loss with Baltimore. Nice win by Carolina. This game's a toss-up. I'll take Carolina, but I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore wins this game. But this would be a decent game. I don't have any fantasy people in this one, but I'll take Carolina in this one. All right, late Sunday, you got the Colts at Oakland. At the Raiders, I don't think the Raiders might not win a game the rest of the year. And when you think about that part of it, and the fact that the only game they did win was a ridiculous comeback against Cleveland, that's the only thing that's going to keep them from being 0-16. That's remarkable. I think a team like the Raiders would fall this far, but they're Gruden's cleaning house. That's what they was brought in to do. Listen, he's not going to be in there 10 years. They brought him in to clean house, get the team to Las Vegas, and then they'll send him right back to the Monday night booth. And listen, he can't get back there fast enough. He's trading everybody away. He's going to trade the Al Davis symbol for a 3rd round pick at this point. He's just trying to stockpile, get the team going for the future, and hopefully Reggie McKenzie or whoever the GM is over there. Rebuilt that team. But Gruden's not hanging around for this. He's there with the brooms, cleaning out all the garbage and all that. And again, just going back to think about it. Not even 2 years ago, 22 months ago, everyone's talking about, oh man, Oakland go to the Super Bowl, and look where they are now. It's crazy when you think about it. That's how fast it goes in the NFL sometimes. Anyway, the Colts aren't great either, but. The Raiders, those guys in the locker room are checking out because they see what's going on. They could all be traded next, so their head's not in the game. Colts are not great, but watch them win this game 20-17 or something ridiculous. I'll take the Colts. You got Green Bay at the Rams. Hopefully this is the shootout everyone is excited about. A lot of big fantasy players obviously involved. Anytime you get the Rams involved, you're looking to score a lot of fancy points. I'm debating whether to start Jared Goff or Russell Wilson in one of my leagues this week. I picked up Wilson for the second half, but I'm looking at Goff's projection. I'm going, oh yeah, this could be a 41-38 type of game here with Green Bay. Should be a nice game here. Rams will win, but because they just got too much, and even though Aaron Rodgers is great, you going up a team like this, even Aaron Rodgers is going to be tough to overcome. But listen, don't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers pulls some out of his ass in this one. Don't be surprised. The Rams are great, looking real good, but this is a game where they could stumble, and it's like, well, there goes the undefeated season. But I think the Rams will win this game. But if there was a game they were going to lose, around this would be it. But I'll take the Rams. And then the game, it's funny, you got 3 games late Sunday afternoon, and 2 of them no one's going to be watching. Colts and Raiders we just talked about, and then 49ers at Arizona. I mean, we're jostling for top 5 draft pick right here. I mean, 49ers have, they've battled. They had a lot of injuries. I mean, last week they're playing the Rams. I mean, there's not a whole lot they can do. But, this is a winnable game for them. I think they beat Arizona a couple weeks ago. So, and just Arizona, looking real bad Thursday against Denver. I mean, listen, there's not enough talent. The 49ers are trying hard. I'll take the 49ers. Sunday night game, here we go again. The rematch of the ridiculous Stephon Diggs play last year. Which by the way, again, Philly. The reason you won the Super Bowl last year is because the Stephon Diggs play. Because if that doesn't happen, New Orleans goes to Philly, beats Philly, and goes to the Super Bowl. So again, Philly, tip your hat to Stephon Diggs. In any event, you get Saints and Vikings, a Sunday Night Football. This is a fun game. You'll be going up against the World Series, but Red Sox are going to win the World Series at this point, so they're already up 2-0. I like the Saints and getting some revenge here. Even though Vikings are playing well the last couple games, but I just like the Saints better. I like Breeze, Kamara, Thomas. I mean, they got some big time players there, and the Vikings do too. But I think there's a little revenge factor here, so I'm gonna take the Saints in this one. And then you get Monday Night Football. You got New England at Buffalo. I mean, finally, I have 3 leagues, fantasy leagues. I finally have the same defense going in the same 3 leagues. I picked up Patriots defense in 2 of my leagues. I already had them in another. I'm actually surprised I was able to pick them up off the wire in 2 leagues. I mean, how do you not pick up New England's defense this week? I mean, again, listen, you have 31 points to the Bears, but the Bears have players on offense. The Bills got nothing. I mean, how do you not pick up? How do you let me pick up New England's defense in 2 weeks? I don't understand. I don't understand what people are up to. But again, every week it seemed like I'd have like one defense I'd have them in one league and be playing against them in another league. And it was just aggravating me. So it's nice to have New England in all 3 leagues. New England's going to beat Buffalo. I don't think there's going to be any question about that. So it's just a long season in Buffalo, and they're back to rebuilding. So all right, again, Cowboys are off this week, so I'm not going to be yelling and screaming anything or kicking any garbage cans. But we'll see what happens. When they come back and they play Tennessee on Monday night next week, week 9, when they come off the bye. So. All right, there you go. Week 8 football.